Okay, Megha Prasad breaking that story with me here in the studio. We have Ashish Dikshit, Supreme Court lawyer from Delhi. Iqbal Yusuf, Supreme Court lawyer, is joining us from Mumbai. MR Venkatesh is on the debate. TR Kakka, former police commissioner, Delhi. Saurabh Shukla, editor-in-chief of newsmobile.in. Dr. Jayanti Datta, clinical psychologist. Manju Kak, writer and activist. Sujay Kantawala, senior lawyer, been with us analyzing this over the days. YP Singh, former IPS officer, advocate. Mrinalini Deshmukh, senior advocate. And Simi Chandok. Simi, let's start with you. How is the story moving in your view?
Well, I think you've left the nation in complete shock, and it's becoming more and more apparent that Peter Mukerjea is probably as guilty, if not more, of masterminding this whole thing.
Yeah, he's mastermind. Any doubt about it? You feel YP? What do you think?
I really don't think, because at the moment...
You don't think so?
No, because the evidence here at the
man
moment
cooks
is
up
not
every
so
story,
robust.
lies all the time.
No, it's not so robust, because...
No.
And if somebody's wife has committed a murder, and if he doesn't want her to get exposed, it is well within the right of a husband to protect his wife.
Some technical argument.
No, it's not a technical argument, because at best he can be accused of covering up the entire thing.
The man in love listens to dead people.
No,
man in love with his wife so much in love with his wife that he begins to listen to dead people.
You are talking of passion. Law is not governed by passion.
Does passion
law
make you
is
listen to
governed
dead people?
By the letter of the law.
Does passion make you listen to dead people? If I have to raise my voice, I will.
Okay, if you listen to dead people, there is a provision under the law to have that.
There's a provision under the law
it has
to listen to dead people.
Okay, if I tell a lie, if I tell a lie,
okay, what's it? Saurabh Shukla is on the debate. Saurabh, if a man in love has a provision under the law to listen to dead people, Saurabh.
Listen, I can tell you, I can speak as a former crime reporter. I started my career as a crime reporter, and I can tell you, after hearing those tapes, one can really make out that clear complicity of Mr. Mukerjea is coming out. The way he's talking to Indrani, the way they're talking to the son, trying to wean him away, in fact, trying to actually tell him to go away from the trail, because obviously there seems a worry
this
that
comes as a story,
he will,
not as law.
Get a hang of what is the real story. So clearly,
yes, it's a story.
And I've been talking.
It's not sufficient for conviction.
These tapes came out to some of the police officials as well. Clearly, it is a complicity of Mr. Mukerjea which is coming out of these tapes.
Right. I mean, first and foremost, tape number 10, Megha. We hear Indrani with Peter listening on the speakerphone, referring to Sheena as a daughter while in conversation with Rahul. When I met Peter Mukerjea, he said that he never thought that she was anything but a sister. He did stumble on the words. But in this phone conversation, Indrani is referring to Sheena as a daughter. Peter knows it. Peter is listening to the conversation. If Indrani can refer to Sheena as a daughter in front of Peter, doesn't that indicate that Peter knew that Sheena is Indrani's daughter and not a sister?
Perhaps
so Peter is a liar.
Yeah. Perhaps all
so Peter is lying on
absolutely, totally lying, because to you he said something else, to us he said something else. There's another phone conversation. Before the CBI he was inconsistent, and here we know that he's been knowing it perhaps for many years before this disappearance, that she was the daughter. Then what was the need to deny this again and again?
So if there's a murder, I'll tell you where there's a link to the murder. If there's a murder, right, let's get TR Kakkar in. He's been a former commissioner, top cop. TR Kakkar, MR Venkatesh, let's draw you into the debate. Sheena dies. After the death, Peter is found lying, not once but on 2 occasions. In one case, he says, I spoke to a dead person, which is physically, spatially, in any other way, even through ESP, impossible to speak to a dead person. The YP Singh feels there's a provision under the law which allows you to speak to dead people.
No, not that, but it doesn't prohibit you from speaking.
All right.
What
does that mean? What does that mean?
TR Kakkar on the debate.
I do not understand that.
Brilliant debate. He says there is no provision of the law which prohibits you from speaking to dead people. Okay, what? All right, go on. Yeah, what's it? Yeah, go ahead.
Peter definitely knows that that Sheena has been murdered, and in these tapes he's only trying to cover the trail so that he can dissuade Rahul to forget about Sheena now, because there is a reference earlier also that if she disappears, what will you do? If she disappears, what will you do? Now this sort of conversation can come in only when a plan is being hatched to do away with Sheena.
Yeah.
She could have always said that if she goes away from you or if she drops you, what will you do? But to say that if she disappears, that itself shows that there is intention even at that stage to do some harm to Sheena.
Yeah, no, let's get Yusuf in. Yusuf, you agree? Yusuf?
No, I don't agree with that because I believe that it's actually very premature for us to jump to conclusions now. Why don't we look at it from another angle? This is a father who obviously knows that his son he believes that his son is having an affair with his sister-in-law, and he doesn't want this to come out.
No, he says I don't know he's a sister-in-law.
He knows that it's a sister-in-law. He doesn't know that's his stepdaughter.
Can I pitch in?
So when
no, watch. Let's get.
You are assuming that he knows everything. If we look at it from his angle and his defense essentially is that he didn't know that she was the daughter.
No, one second. Now, in the interview to me last year, Peter told me that Sheena had mentioned to him. No. In the interview to me last year, I don't know if you heard it. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
So if you say in the interview, Peter told me when I was sitting with him like 1 feet away, and he said to me that Sheena had mentioned to him that she was in fact Indrani's daughter, but he didn't believe her because Indrani insisted otherwise. Now that Indrani was herself in the tapes we put out today referring to Sheena as a daughter, it completely demolishes Peter's claim to me, which means he knew about it all along and he was lying. You can't lie on both occasions, so he's caught lying. My point is we have 3 narratives now on where there is a complete flip on the part of Peter. In the first interview to Times Now on August 26 last year, Peter said it was Rahul who had told him that Sheena was Indrani's daughter and he didn't believe him. Then there was another interview, I don't know if you remember, it was on the 27th. He told me that Sheena had told him that she was Indrani's daughter, he didn't believe her. Now Indrani herself who is referring to Sheena as a daughter before Peter. So the obvious question is, was Peter lying that he didn't know? And why is he lying?
No.
Why is Peter constantly lying is the moot point that we have to come to here. If he's just is he lying because he's
we have to look at it from a societal point of view.
What societal?
You're looking at a person who's in a high profile place.
No.
The gentleman obviously doesn't want the person
societal point of view,
TR
Kakkad doesn't agree. TR Kakkad, you don't agree?
I don't agree.
I don't agree with this. After all, at 2 instances, clearly it is being mentioned that she is daughter of Indrani, and third time Indrani herself mentioned, and yet Peter doesn't want to believe it.
Yes, because he doesn't, maybe he chooses not to believe it. Maybe he doesn't want to believe it because he can't accept the fact that his son is having an affair with possibly his stepdaughter or his sister-in-law.
Jayanti Datta is responding from Delhi. Jayanti.
If you look at the personality of Peter, first and foremost, a man who's been in media and he's been sleeping with this lady for 16 years, he's not so naive that he didn't know who is in her relationship and who is not. He believes what he wants to believe. He gives priority because he has to believe his wife. Why not believe his son? He's chosen not to believe his wife when it suited him. He chooses not to believe his son when it suits him. Every time he gives a concocted story. Now there has to be one thing, you know. Absolute lie because there is
YP,
Why does the Evidence Act communication between husband and wife are privileged communications? You have a right to tell a lie to your wife and vice versa.
What?
Just you have a right under the Indian Evidence Act. Because it's a privileged communication.
Not only lying.
No.
Not only lying. He's also speaking
okay. I know that. But then what is being
calm down?
What is coming out?
Series of lying. He's lying about his wife.
But husband
lying about
okay, listen. Why are you arguing?
He's also lying about talking to the female.
That he believes what he wants to believe, and he doesn't want to believe and he doesn't want to believe.
First of all, these are domestic communications.
He is a liar and is proved as such.
How can you take this as evidence?
I also want to get Ashish in. He's being listening on quietly. The point is, in tape number 17, which we played yesterday and today, Peter says Sheena referred to him as Jiju when she spoke to him. So a dead person picks up the phone and dead person says,
and refers Jiju.
Mr. Alive person, I am dead person, I am going to speak to you as Jiju. Right? And the conversation happens between the living and the dead. This is essentially. Now, is a conversation between the living and the dead also privileged communication?
Well, I think Arnab.
No, I'm serious because you take.
See, now listen.
No,
it's
my
it's a blatant lie he's speaking.
Yeah, so it's a blatant lie that he's speaking.
But can that blatant
why is he lying?
Incorporated in the trial?
No,
that is the question.
Peter says
not only lying, he's hallucinating also.
If some husband wants to protect his wife, it's his right to do so.
The question is,
and that communication cannot be brought on record.
No, Peter says. Peter, what does Peter say? Peter says Sheena refers to me as Jiju when she speaks to him. So what we have is a world of confusion. Sheena, as per Peter, refers to him as Jiju.
Well,
right, one sec, which means brother-in-law. And Indrani, in front of both Rahul and Peter, refers to Sheena as a daughter. What is going on here?
No, but fine. Like
how many lies?
It's apparent that he is speaking lies.
Why does a person lie? Sujay Kantawala, why does a
But can that lie amount to culpability?
I'm saying
he cannot be tried for that.
Sujay,
he has to be directly linked to the murder.
Fine.
I'm just connected to the motive.
You have to see the pattern.
If you connect it to the motive.
One sec, sorry. Yeah. Connected to the motive, yes.
If you connect it to the motive, and if you see the overall circumstances, tape after tape is revealing the fact that Rahul was completely being taken on the garden path by Indrani and Peter. And how can you imagine a father telling a son who that his fiancé has disappeared, go for a shower,
and
go for a workout.
Quiet after that.
Yeah. Let him.
Why can it not be that he's trying to downplay the entire incident and telling his son to move on in life? He's thinking that there's a lover's trip. One of the lovers has gone away and gone. Why can it not be that he says that there was a lover's trip with
a Bentley car, and then she was seen flying at the airport, and you can fly on somebody else's boarding card, and all these kind of things. You have to read it all together.
I think Rahul is as much responsible because he kept quiet for 3 years. He's such a sharp person, incursive person. He's being bluffed, and he says I'm being bluffed. He knows he can file a missing report there. Police is the easiest to file a missing report. He could have gone to the office of Commissioner of Police and handed over a letter.
Simi. He's
getting a story.
This was 2 days after she went missing that he was getting after them, correct? This was within 2 days.
Why did he not send an email to the commissioner? He could have gone to the office of commissioner, handed a letter at the counter. Nobody sees the letter.
Because he was being misled by his own family, by his own father.
Rahul is responsible for his omission. Under section 39 of the CRPC, it's his legal duty to report the matter to the police. He didn't do so. If the police, why did he not file a writ of habeas corpus?
For God's sake,
I think Rahul,
you cannot hold him responsible. I'm sorry.
See, look,
I would like to raise some serious questions, if I may, about the role of the police. And Megha can pick up on that. Tapes that we have put in public domain, and given that we have reliable information that the phone calls of the driver Shamvar Rai and later Indrani were being tracked by the ATS as far back as 2014, what explains the fact that the first arrest in the case only happened in August 2015? What is happening between 2014 and 2015? I raise questions about what the police is doing. If the ATS is tracking the driver's conversations along with Indrani's conversations as way back as in 2014, what were the agencies doing for a year sitting on the call data records? And what was the reason for them to track Shamvar in 2014 when he was arrested only in 2015? What was the need to keep him under watch? I raise questions over what's happening with the police. And we all know that Peter Mukerjea and Indrani Mukerjea are very well connected with the police. Rahul is not. Is it entirely not possible that Peter and Indrani are using their contacts
Rahul,
in the police?
Who treacherously records his dear father's conversation.
Treacherously?
He can't go to the police. He can't go to the police and complain.
Minalini is responding to you.
No, you are recording your father's conversation. Is he so naive that he doesn't know that he can report the matter to the police?
YP stop.
No, he's not a saint.
YP stop, Megha.
Rahul is not a saint.
YP stop, Megha.
Two things, Mr. Singh. I'm not defending anybody, but you have got your facts wrong. Number one, Rahul did go to the police. There is a whole lot of conversation here. We can read that out to you. He went to the police. He persuaded the police.
What is the evidence?
1 second, listen to me.
What is the evidence?
He has gone to the police. The police accompanied him, Mr. Singh, all the way to the Marlow bungalow.
Look, police,
and there the police guy meets Indrani.
Police doesn't leave the police station without a station diary entry.
Listen to me. It all happened, right? He took the policeman to the bungalow there in Worli. The policeman meets Indrani. Indrani, of course, is successful in making the policeman understand that Rahul's gone nuts and there is no problem here, and packs both of them off. That happens. After that, there's a whole conversation here where he says that, Dad, if she does not return today by 5, I will have to go and file a complaint with the police. To which Peter says, well, you should go, but you see, we are waiting for this. Why don't you wait for a little while? And then Indrani prompts Peter, and then both of them, the entire conversation ends in a manner in which there is no decision,
Megha,
but he tells,
no, one second.
You know, he's in a way threatening that I am going to go to the police and I will file
a cop cannot leave the police station without a log entry. Is there a log entry? No, not theoretical.
It's done all
See,
the
Rahul
time.
is not so
He's
naive.
been a cop, you would know in what circumstances
See, Rahul
how cops
is a person who knows so much.
God's sake,
A person who knows so much doesn't report the matter to the police. You could have sent a letter by post under the law. You can send a letter by post also.
Will you just I mean, I'm sorry if there's Peter Mukerjea, is sitting in jail listening to you today. He's going to immediately call you and say, take up my case. You have so much enthusiasm to fight.
No.
Another question. The question is, however much your enthusiasm, I don't know the reason for your affection for this Charles Sobraj type character called Peter Mukerjea.
No, it is
tape number 7. Tape number 7. Rahul is talking about going to file.
Also should
in
be held
tape
accountable.
number 7, Rahul is talking about going to file, and Megha is right, a formal missing person's report with the police that very moment, because that's what he's told to do by Sheena's boss. Peter is uncomfortable at that point because he asks him from that point on, who is this lady from Sheena's workplace? How should it matter to him who this person is? The important thing is go file the complaint. He is doing everything on trying to find out about information from the police. When Rahul is busy talking about going to file a formal complaint with the police, why is Peter's bird's eye focus on getting the details as to who Rahul spoke to at Sheena's office? In fact, if I play that clip, he even seems to get very angry when Rahul tells him, I can't remember anything about the woman who called from the workplace. This unfounded concern for tracing Sheena's office folk is completely unwarranted. Sheena is missing for several days. Sheena is your wife's daughter, right? Or not our sister. He knew it's the daughter. He should be concerned only about her well-being. Why is he concerned about who called from the office? I'm very suspicious behavior here by Peter Mukerjea. Very. What do you think, Mrinalini?
See, my only view on this whole thing is that obviously now as the tapes are coming out, more and more clarity is given to this entire issue which is there. But one fact is very, very certain, that both of them are hand in glove, and the mastermind is that of Indrani, undoubtedly, and probably he's the one who's executing the whole thing. Maybe let me give him the benefit of doubt out of what he says, that blind love into that.
He plays an important role in playing down the gravity of Sheena's disappearance, which establishes his role in the cover-up of the crime. See, Mrinalini, if Peter was as worried about trying to find out where Sheena is as Rahul is, why did Peter and Indrani coolly go to Goa? Your daughter is missing. Your daughter is missing. You don't know anything about where she is. Manju Kak, your daughter is missing, right? You should be going helter-skelter, going crazy about it. You simply pack up and go to Goa, and every time your son calls saying, I don't know where she is, you say, you know what? Go to the gym, have a good time, have something to eat, go have a shower, relax. I mean, this is what I'm trying to say.
Actually said, I don't care about her. All I care about is, when are you coming to Goa? He says, I don't care about her.
And then she says,
he says, I don't care about her.
Then she says, I spoke to her. Then she says, I spoke to her.
Manju Kak, what do you think? How is the story building now from yesterday?
I didn't hear you very clearly, but I'm following the drift of the conversation, and I feel that the most important thing here is the establishment of intent. Why, and why was this crime committed, and who stands to benefit most from the crime?
Yeah. Agreed.
The fact that Peter is complicit with Indrani, that is obvious. And the callousness of the murder, of the crime, is obvious. Now the point is, what will hold up in a court of law? His complicitness as a person who's an accomplice or as the mastermind. I disagree with the lady there who said Indrani is the prime mover and shaker of this. I don't think so. I think it is somebody else who's calling the shots. It could be Peter or it could be someone else.
Yeah, MR.
And therefore, I think the most important is the intention.
Hearing the tapes play out
the degree of intention.
Channel, all that I can say is there are two Jugalbandi maestros in town. They are Mr. and Mrs. Mukerjea, each one playing to the tune of the other. And I looking at the tapes, I can't say for one who is the mastermind, who is the accomplice. Because all that is seen is, at some point of time, there is a prodding from Indrani and sometimes there is a prodding from Peter Mukerjea. But they succeed to some extent in hoodwinking the son Rahul. But the fundamental question is, there is an important member of the family goes missing. Here we just take care of even a kitten or a dog that goes missing in the house. But here is a very important person from the household missing for 3 years. And all that Peter says is, Ajayegi, or just tells son Rahul that she will come, go have a shower, don't worry, take a walk, go, how was your dinner and whatnot. But never does he show any seriousness. Never does he say, come son, yes, you are aggrieved, we are also aggrieved, we are also distressed, come let us go to the police, I will use my influence, I will use all my contacts. This is what is the natural behavior of a person who is really going to find out the person who is missing. But here what we see, that at every turn he is trying to stonewall, he is trying to put across a sort of, that Rahul was on a wild goose chase. He would not.
Rahul is the person.
And what I can see from
Rahul is the person who handed over tapes and ensured that his father goes to jail. If Rahul had not given the tapes, would Rahul have got involved? No.
So
Peter got involved only because Rahul gave the tapes.
Watch. Now listen. Yeah, MR. Yes, MR.
No, I am saying that we do not know whether Rahul gave the tapes. What the tapes say is more important than who gave the tapes.
Rahul taped them.
Tapes tell a very important story.
It was not. They were not interceptions. They were not interceptions.
Whether whoever gave the tapes.
No, but then it was recorded by Rahul. They are not interceptions by the cops.
So what? It doesn't turn the story anyway.
No, see, had Rahul not given the tapes, Peter would not have been behind bars. Now, if a son gives tapes to the police so that his father goes behind bars and the son keeps quiet for 3 years, should not his conduct be examined?
If the tapes came out,
why?
Please understand, if the tapes
Peter
came out
was quiet, so was
Rahul.
Rahul.
What was the Mumbai police doing?
No, if Peter was quiet, so was Rahul.
When it had
Peter and Rahul have to be put at the same pedestal.
Why did the Mumbai police keep quiet when they had such clinching evidences about the conduct of the man?
TR Kakkar.
And we are saying Rahul is a saint.
As to who gave the tapes.
TR Kakkar.
The fact that the tapes.
That is irrelevant, sir. The contents of the tape is more important than who.
How does it matter who gave the tapes? The tapes contain incriminating material, and that material goes not only against Indrani but also against Peter.
Yeah.
Now, if we keep haggling on who gave the tapes, it is not going to really enhance our case. The case is very simple. The Peter and Indrani had planned this murder. Peter and Indrani knew everything, and it is only that 3 years they kept the whole thing under wrap.
Mr. Kakkar, you should not speak.
Let's get everyone on speaker.
When the driver,
how can you say Peter planned it?
Can we have YP on it, please? No, one second.
No, how can you say, Mr. Kakkar, how can you say that Peter planned it? What evidence is there?
Natural behavior.
You are a former police commissioner, you are an investigator.
The natural.
How can you say that Peter was involved in the conspiracy? All you can say that Peter was involved in the cover.
I am the investigator.
What evidence is there against Peter for conspiracy?
So the real your problem.
Mr. Kakkar is a former police commissioner.
But
you are a former policeman.
That is why I am going by evidence. We have as police personnel, we have to evaluate them.
You are a policeman too.
Yes.
Now, Mr. YP Singh, listen to me.
Yes.
1 minute. YP, listen. You don't know you're a policeman how much, what police...
We go by evidence.
And you don't know how you manipulate evidence? You don't know how you botch up evidence?
No,
you don't know the police are the experts at mutilating evidence.
No, see, this is
in this case, this evidence was, I am being very specific.
Yes, they have done in 2012.
Yes, I'm saying so today.
But not in this. They killed the case. There has never been a case.
Come back to the point. Come back to the point. The point is, Rahul has raised legitimate questions with regard to Sheena not contacting him. He said, I don't know what's going to happen. Father is deflecting the concern. Relax, go for a walk.
No,
it's
but
all fine.
What is enigmatic is Rahul's act was a half act. He didn't take it. It is an emotional act. It was not a legal act.
Okay.
It was his legal responsibility.
You want to go to
the second,
natural behavior of a family whose daughter is
YP,
missing.
don't run away with the debate.
Let's ask ourselves.
Now the question
if
is,
our daughter is missing or our girl is missing, what would be our behavior? Won't we go to the police to lodge a complaint?
No.
Or we'll run away to Goa to enjoy?
Is YP trying to say that Rahul was also party to the whole thing?
Well, it requires a look. I'm not saying it was. His omission is enigmatic. His omission is illegal.
Rahul is... one second.
Why did he not go
YP, I can shout.
Yes,
YP, I'm telling you, Rahul is crying and she's asking, is she dead? Where is she? I'm looking for her. There is one person who has no emotion in this, and that is Indrani and Peter. And can I say something, please? There is a tacit understanding between Peter and Indrani throughout the course of the tapes. You look at these tapes, I find a tacit understanding throughout the script of the tapes. At no point of time, Saurabh, do we see Peter challenging anything that Indrani has to put forth. And in fact, he is instrumental in propagating whatever Indrani is offering as an explanation, including the fact he blindly parrots Indrani's explanation that Sheena probably had an affair with another person, and that's the real reason for her disappearance, was that she wanted to get away from Rahul. In tape number 1, when Rahul raises the point here, Megha, that there is more to her disappearance, Peter, in the presence of Indrani, being interrupted by her time and again, floats the idea that she wants to get away from Rahul and everybody else and does not want to stay in touch.
And Arnab, that's the first tape.
So
that 48 hours perhaps.
And he's floating the
right
affair.
From the very beginning till the very end. In tape number 20, if you hear, he says the exact same thing. Move on in life. Perhaps she doesn't want to come back. If she wants to come back, she'll get in touch. But one thing that we haven't really known is this, Arnab, this persistent questioning that is happening. He's getting down. One second. He's getting down.
Why isn't he being a dutiful father? If he trusts his wife, why doesn't he trust his son who's saying something has gone wrong?
And who was engaged to the lady.
Yes, and
and why does he cement?
Why is there no concern that I should be finding my son's fiancé?
Not for a legal case.
No.
See, this is good
This is unfair to even try and blame Rahul. If it wasn't for Rahul, probably Peter would be out of jail.
I think Rahul has to be blamed for being silent for 3 years and not invoking the law.
YP, well tried. Now, Peter further cements the idea out here. Saurabh, another interesting, I want to get Saurabh in because those outside the studio are not getting their turn. Peter cements the idea that Sheena is after all with some character called Nishant Khurana, who's a figure floated by Indrani, who apparently has a Bentley car. Right? Nice narrative, Bentley car, rich guy, Nishant Khurana went away with him, stop crying. And therefore Rahul has to go ahead and plan his life since Sheena seems to be in a happy place. Now when I spoke to Peter, I said, where is Sheena? He said she's in Los Angeles. Where did Los Angeles come in from? How do you know Nishant Khurana is in Los Angeles? Is the Bentley in Delhi or in Los Angeles? How is this all adding up? The person who's persistently...
And where is the passport? And where is the passport?
The person who is lying throughout, in fact... the person who is lying the most is Peter Mukerjea. Peter is lying more than Indrani.
He is.
He's lying consistently, Saurabh.
Arnab, it's emerging that this is completely a concocted story. The way this entire story was created was to give a whole fig leaf and to make sure that the son who's inquisitive, who's concerned, he's thrown off the trail. Clearly, you can see the making of a big story, the way these people are talking in the tapes. I think the evidence that is emerging, certainly obviously the courts and the CBI has to dig out who was behind it. And I agree with some of the co-panelists that the real person behind this entire mystery has to be uncovered. What about the financial angle? Why was the police quiet?
No.
Who was the influential police officer trying to influence the probe? All these questions have to be brought out in the public domain.
No, and more
but clearly this whole story that is emerging from these phone conversations is damning. Damning to the extent of how a father and a so-called mother is trying to completely disregard the disappearance of an important member of the family.
No, you see, there are two kinds of lies going on. Indrani's lies are matter-of-fact lies. She just lies with a straight face. But as far as Peter is concerned, Peter's lies are confident lies. He lies absolutely confidently. He says she's in Los Angeles. How can she be in Los Angeles when her passport is with Rahul?
That's what I've been asking.
Jayanti, how can she be in Los Angeles when the passport is with Rahul?
Precisely. I would like to bring in Arnab. Another thing also, all the characters involved in this story had a definite motive, including Sheena Bora's brother. Because he says at one point that his sister was in rehab. When you knew your sister was in rehab, what happened? Why didn't you follow it up? Now Rahul says this girl is missing. He himself is sitting with the passport. Now this is something where you have to come out in the open and say that the whole thing was probably planned by Peter Mukerjea. Peter Mukerjea at the last minute, dodged his wife also. He had played in a way. You know one thing, Arnab, when you lie, if you are a compulsive liar and if you have woven the thing very thoughtfully, then at the end of the thing you try to give out your own partner. This is what Peter has done. Indrani could never think that Peter would let
Arnab, I want to jump in on completely different perspective.
And Peter, in fact, deceived Indrani Mukerjea also.
Yeah, okay, Ashish, jump in.
He knew all along that the passport was
I just want to raise a very important question.
Yeah.
See, all of us on the panel are jumping onto different conclusions that this guy has done something, Rahul has done something, or Indrani has done something. We are forgetting a fact that CBI has filed a charge sheet in which they have relied upon these telephonic conversations.
No, only parts of it.
Just a minute, Arnab.
Only parts of
it. Maybe not all, but they have relied.
Parts of it.
They have, but they have selected.
No. One sec.
No, Arnab,
we've seen
Arnab, I'm with you.
They have disregarded 95%. They've disregarded the important parts.
I am with you on this.
And hence we can't say they've relied on it. Technically they have, factually they've not. Yeah.
Okay, Arnab, I'm with you on this. Suppose they have relied only upon the 5% of it. Now the entire thing is before the court. If court finds that there is something missing, court has ample power under the further investigation to call for the entire tapes and see whether they are related to it.
Yeah.
What we are doing sitting here is, my point is that we sitting here in a studio are completely diminishing a right of an accused to a fair trial.
No, we are not.
We are creating an adverse perception.
No, we are not.
We are creating an adverse perception.
In fact, because only 5 or 10% of the tapes are relied upon, there could be an argument that there could be tampering. In fact, all the tapes should have been relied on. If you only rely on some part of the tapes, defense could always raise an issue that some of these tapes could be tampered also, or could be doctored also. So all the tapes have to be before the court. And since we are discussing it, all these are in public domain. We are not conducting some kind of a trial.
Do you think the court has no power to call for these tapes?
Ashish, listen. Now let's look at what is in the tapes. That's what viewers are talking about, right? The tapes are with the court. When Rahul questions the narrative that Sheena texted Indrani by saying anybody can pick up the phone and text from Sheena's number and persists by asking what is in that message, Peter Mukerjea has one more unusual ability. He can talk to a dead person. He can also exchange text messages with a dead person. Because Peter reads the message from Sheena, who was dead at this point, by the way. Right? And the message reads, "Thanks for the dosh. I hope Rahul doesn't chase me now." If Peter is innocent, why did he back the theory that a dead girl was texting Indrani? So, yeah,
if someone who has tracked the story on the field right from the time the arrest happened, and yesterday, you know, in so much of work, we perhaps could not, there were some tapes that I could not hear. Today, when I was sitting and listening to those tapes, the new ones that we put out today, it's almost impossible. You cannot imagine that this man did not know what had happened.
Obviously, that is the reason CBI has filed a charge sheet.
Ashish, listen to the point. Listen to the. She's heard the tapes. So have I. And I now like to say, in tape number 11, when Rahul tries to investigate more on a certain Nishant Khurana, who is Nishant Khurana, Peter says Nishant Khurana is also obviously in Delhi. How does Peter Mukerjea know that Nishant Khurana is obviously in Delhi, and how is he so sure that a person he has never met, never seen, never heard, never spoken to all is in Delhi? All these theories when Sheena is dead. So there are like a zillion lies of Peter we are catching.
That's my
point.
That is the reason that CBI has filed charge sheet and relied upon these tapes which you are talking about.
Ashish, you're repeating the point.
There can be 100. Arnab, there can be 100 pieces of evidence. Police will only file which is the evidence which is most crucial.
No, they won't.
As per their
no,
case.
they won't. No, they won't. I am telling you, if the police, Ashish, can I have others on the panel on the screen, please? Otherwise, it's going to be one-sided. Ashish, no, you are repeating yourself, and I think we are laboring over one point. We are not being able to take the discussion forward. Ashish, I request you to stop on this point, please. Fact is, look at the context. What is happening in the debate? Peter is unable to answer any of Rahul's questions satisfactorily. He tells him Sheena has quote-unquote played her cards very carefully, that she has quote-unquote fired the gun off Indrani's shoulders. Basic question is, how is Peter so sure that it is in fact Sheena who has wronged everyone? There is no possibility of something actually happening to her. What proof does he have?
He wanted to create hate in Rahul's mind for Sheena, and therefore he created all these facts again and again and out of the box theories of his. And that was the clear motive.
That's the clear motive.
That Rahul then slowly starts forgetting her. And the case is over.
But
it's a motive for cover.
Let's cover up.
The CBI, ASG representing CBI has said that they are going to investigate into offshore accounts in open court. 90 million pounds in this article, 90 million pounds have been siphoned away, and Sheena Bora knew about it. That is the motive.
No, the motive.
So the motive is a money trail.
No, in tape number 10.
People would be knowing about
YP. In tape number 10, I'm now continuing on this man's lies. In tape number 10, Peter Mukerjea, in the middle of Indrani reassuring Rahul that Sheena is fine, promptly says, quote unquote, she has taken cash. She has taken cash. Is there?
Yeah.
To which Indrani says, quote, people don't take cash to just go and die. Okay? And Peter says, again, she has taken cash. It's clear Peter is trying to divert Rahul's attention by indicating that Sheena is greedy of taking away money. She's taken money to live her own good, rich life.
Eloped.
That's the point? Eloped.
And gone for more money.
How many more lies do we want to put out here? Manju Kak, you're following the discussion, I'm sure. We're just sequencing Peter's lies.
I'm following it, but what is very interesting is that in the dialogue that Indrani and her husband Peter have with Rahul, there is a great smugness and self-confidence in the way they speak, as if whatever they have done is never going to be unearthed and they're never going to be caught on the wrong side of the law. And that confidence is very clear throughout in their tones.
Yeah.
Where is that stemming from, you know?
Yeah, where is it? No, where is it stemming from? Where is this confidence? MR is on. We go to
stemming
Mr.
from the Mumbai police.
Who is this person who's giving them that confidence?
MR
they can do what they like and it's not going to come out.
Arnab, it stems from Mumbai police and the contact that Mr. Peter Mukerjea has with Mumbai police. And if you recall, after Sheena was arrested by Mumbai police, your cameraman had got glimpses of Mr. Peter Mukerjea entering the police club or something and probably having a drink there. Now this is the most important thing. When your wife is arrested, you go to the police club and even ensure that you spend an evening there without any fuss, without any fear, without any let or fear. You just brazenly go there. And what do? You don't discuss the American stock markets. You definitely are going to influence the probe. You are definitely trying to see and navigate the probe and understand this. Sheena Bora murder case is one angle. The other angle is the conduct of the Mumbai police. The conduct of the Mumbai police is as much important.
I think I would add to that.
As this case itself.
No, I would add to that. I would add to that. I would say that what about Rakesh Maria? What about Rakesh Maria? What about, and I say conduct and contacts, Mr. Kakkar. Rakesh Maria's conduct in this investigation is not above suspicion.
Rakesh Maria is as much a pawn as anybody.
No, I'm sorry, I wouldn't conclude that so easily.
No, don't trivialize. Don't trivialize.
T.R. Kakkar.
Don't trivialize the commissioner of Mumbai into a pawn.
Police. Yeah. The Maharashtra police and the Mumbai police, that is the Rajgarh and the Mumbai police, have definitely botched up somewhere. And that somewhere could be, I feel that it was intentional, and if it was intentional, it was for something, either in kind or whatever is there.
It was a common performance.
Well, they didn't register the murder.
There is no reason.
This is very, very serious. This never happened in police.
Not to register an FIR. There are no reason not to register an FIR.
See, murder.
And take up investigation.
It was a clear-cut case of murder in 2012.
To register an FIR.
1 second. Yeah,
which goes to show that it was all intentional.
Yusuf, quick point. 2 minutes left.
I just need 2 minutes. I need to understand something. So are we looking at these tapes and saying that this is a gentleman who's the head honcho of a media company? He gets together,
failed,
at the right time. At the right time.
Failed, botched up media company from where money was siphoned off.
Yes, siphoned off.
And therefore, 1 second. Failed, botched up media company from where money was siphoned off, and there is an investigation of the serious fraud investigating office.
Let me finish,
so let's complete the point here. Yeah.
So this is a man who has tried to cover a crime of siphoning off, or for whatever reason trying to.
We don't know whether cover up or
was it a cover up, or was it to prevent the money from going out, or whether it was an attempt to see that his son doesn't get married to the stepdaughter. The point here is that he uses his wife, he uses the wife's ex-husband. He gets the husband to come down from Calcutta. He flies to London. He does all this entire game, and then he sits pretty. He doesn't do anything to cover up. He doesn't do anything about the driver. The driver goes free. The driver is interacting with his wife. The driver gets arrested because.
Is it possible the wife was just a front?
Are we looking at a person either intelligent or is dumb?
Are you trying to say that she is the devoted Hindu wife who follows everything that the husband says, and she has nothing to do with that?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if we attribute.
He is the one who only to protect his wife may have gone out. He is also part of it, but he's gone all the way out also to protect his wife, maybe out of deep emotions for her, which is
simple question.
But protect her, or is he covering her?
I have one question.
Was he party to the murder, or was he an accomplice to the murder?
Answer one question. Who had more clout over the police, Peter or Indrani?
We have absolutely no idea.
No, Peter.
They're brokers who can pay money to brokers and get the work done.
It could be anybody. My point is, why are we blaming the police?
That's regulation.
See, when this driver was arrested.
That's available for every department.
And when the driver was arrested, why wasn't that cover-up done then if there was a cover-up? Let's not blame the police. I don't think you can blame the police in this.
I say this work in the police.
I don't know how you blame the police in this.
Well, you don't require to be Peter for that.
No, let's not get on the police. I say, where did the police go wrong when they arrested the driver and then they let
close in on the debate.
Interesting bit that happened today, Arnab, was when this hearing was happening in the court, and reporters went and tried to have a conversation with Indrani. What she said, lied all over again, says, I asked Rahul to go and file an FIR back then. I'm surprised why it did not happen. And I so wanted to send the transcripts to her and say, how, look at how you dissuaded and persuaded him against it.
Even now, the Machiavellian cold way in which these two conspiracy kingpin Indrani and Peter are operating is almost scary. These tapes are really revealing. We're going to put it all out on our website. I thank you all very much for joining me on debate number 2 on the Sheena murder tapes on the News Hour tonight. Thank you.